Those who know the right questions must reach those asking the wrong ones, and sometimes even the lost. I protect my identity because truth has a body count. Welcome to the Anarchist File. Status isn't new. It's just rebranded every generation to look noble again. The peasants once knelt before kings. Now they double-tap influencers. The same psychology, different throne. We pretend it's meritocracy, but deep down, everyone still wants the crown. Money just changed its costume now. It wears followers, access, and plausible deniability. You wake up, scroll through a feed engineered to remind you that you're not enough, and call it news. Every post, every trend, every outrage cycle is a subtle ranking system measuring who's in control of attention. It's digital feudalism, everybody fighting for a castle made of pixels. And like all feudal systems, the majority volunteer to be ruled. Look around. Your favorite creators act like monarchs, your boss acts like a priest, and you act like a serf begging for validation disguised as opportunity. The algorithm replaced God. Engagement replaced salvation. And the funniest part? You built the church yourself. You donate your time, data, and dopamine to platforms that treat you like tithing cattle. Clout isn't fame. Fame was at least earned through production sing fight, build, conquer. Clout is parasitic. It's fame's synthetic cousin, manufactured, disposable, high-fructose validation. It's what happens when a civilization worships recognition more than achievement, and the cult is global. Everyone from teenagers to senators is hooked on the same drug, attention, but attention is just the symptom. The real disease is the belief that status equals safety, that if enough people watch you, you'll matter. It's the same primal logic that kept cavemen from exile and kept courtiers bowing. Social death still feels worse than physical pain, so people trade dignity for digital immortality. They think followers protect them from irrelevance. They don't. They just decorate the cage. This essay is about that caged invisible hierarchy of the 21st century. It's not Marxism. It's not conspiracy. It's math. Attention flows upward, obedience flows downward, and somewhere in between the middle class keeps paying subscription fees for the illusion of belonging. We'll decode the new aristocracy, the content lords who rule not through armies, but algorithms. We'll expose the peasants who mistake envy for inspiration. We'll dissect the rituals of fake humility, exclusive circles, and moral theater that disguise power as virtue. And when we're done, you'll see why the system never collapses it, just reskins itself, every decade, to look relatable. Clout is the new currency. Clout is the new currency. Class never died, it just went digital. The word feudalism sounds medieval castles, horses, plagues, but you're living in it. Only now the castles are digital, the horses are private jets, and the peasants beg for Wi-Fi instead of bread. The structure hasn't changed, only the window dressing has. A few own the infrastructure, a few thousand manage it, and the rest worship it. In the old world, land was power. In the new world, attention is. You don't need acreage, you need audience. Every follower is a micro-vassal, every post a tax, every algorithm a decree. The influencers are the new nobles, their faces on banners, their words algorithmically immortalized. The CEOs are the monarchs, untouchable and smug, and the rest? Serfs in digital fields, trading time for validation, praying for viral harvest. Look closely at any online community and you'll see the hierarchy. At the top, the lords verified, rich, and unreachable. Below them, the clergy, the blue-check commentators, journalists, and pseudo-intellectuals who translate the lord's language for the masses. Beneath them, merchants, the content editors, ad managers, platform devs, and at the bottom, peasants. You, probably. Posting for free, selling your data, buying merch to feel seen. You think you're participating? You're subsidizing? The lords don't post for fun. They post to govern. Each tweet, each clip, each collaboration is a royal decree disguised as relatability. Just woke up at 5 a.m. to grin "Let's go Kings." You think that's motivation? It's domination? It normalizes the idea that you should work like a slave while celebrating the master. To present suffering as moral virtue, wealth as spiritual reward. It's the prosperity gospel in pixels. Meanwhile, the serfs imitate the nobility with parody rituals. They wear the uniforms, off-white hoodies, AirPods, Stanley Cups, thinking consumption equals ascension. They quote Naval or Musk as if they're prophets, not power brokers. They buy productivity planners, light therapy lamps, mindfulness courses, all modern indulgences for modern sinners. Their hope isn't salvation, it's sponsorship. But here's the dark brilliance. The new lords convince the peasants that visibility is freedom. You can say anything. You can build your own brand. You can be your own boss. Translation: you can shoulder the risk while they own the rails. The influencer still answers to the algorithm. The YouTuber still fears the demonetization decree. The OnlyFans star still prays the platform doesn't collapse. Peasants once feared the Lord's whip. Now they fear a content strike. Same anxiety, new font. Every time you scroll, you type. Your attention feeds the machine. You think your opinion matters because you can comment. It doesn't. The lords don't read comments. They read metrics. You're not a citizen, you're data. And when you rebel, when you unfollow, when you cancel, you think you're overthrowing them. But you're not. You're participating in the ritual that keeps them relevant. Hate is engagement. Engagement is power. You're still paying tax, just in rage instead of admiration. Even offline, the structure holds. The rich don't wait in lines. They buy time. They don't obey rules. They write them. A billionaire commits fraud. He gets a fine smaller than your annual salary. You miss one IRS payment, they take your car. That's feudal asymmetry. Same as it ever was. And just like the medieval peasants, modern serfs defend the very system that enslaves them. They laugh at anyone who steps outside the matrix, call them cringe or conspiracy. It's protective mimicry. Stockholm Syndrome at scale. The algorithm's greatest trick was convincing you that it's meritocratic, that anyone can make it if they grind hard enough. But the walls are invisible, not absent. You're not playing in an open field. You're in a pen with transparent glass. Some will argue, but look, ordinary people go viral all the time. True, and lottery winners exist too. Doesn't make the casino fair. Every viral hit is a sacrificial myth, the exception paraded to prove the rule works. They need a few peasants to ascend, so the rest keep farming for free. Here's the truth. The lords respect only two current-size: money and mystique. The first, you can earn. The second, you must cultivate. The rich man without mystery is resented. The mysterious man without riches is feared. Combine both, and you have modern royalty. That's why the top of the hierarchy is silent. They don't argue. They don't overshare. They appear selectively. They manage perception, like monarchs once managed armies. Meanwhile, the peasants overshare their traumas for engagement, thinking vulnerability will humanize them. It doesn't. It commodifies them. In the new feudal system, even pain is monetized. Every tear is potential content. Every heartbreak, a story time. You can't escape exploitation by confessing. You just offer new inventory. So what's the way out? You can't dismantle feudalism, but you can rise within it. You stop being a peasant the moment you stop needing applause. You stop playing for likes and start moving for leverage. You build ownership, real or digital. You create something that doesn't rely on permission. The goal isn't equality, it's autonomy. The serf asks for fairness. The lord asks for control. And that S, the moral inversion no one wants to admit. Equality is the desire of the powerless. Hierarchy is the instinct of the strong. The game isn't going away. But the players who see it clearly stop bleeding for validation. They start collecting tribute instead. This is the new feudalism. Same greed, new gadgets. Same pyramid, new pain. The only question is whether you're fighting for a throne or building one. Clout is counterfeit currency. It looks shiny, it trades fast, but it's backed by nothing. You can't eat it, you can't bank it, and you can't take it with you. Yet it rules the digital world like gold once ruled empires. People will sell their dignity for it, burn their friendships for it, and call it brand building. They've turned validation into labor. They don't even realize they're working for free. Engagement farming is the new system, and the farmers are the ones who post every day, pretending it's freedom. You know the type. The community builder tweeting motivational garbage like what S1 piece of advice you'd give your younger self. Or the Instagram coach asking who else needed to hear this today. They're not connecting, they're harvesting. Every reply, every like, every comment is a breadcrumb of attention that feeds the algorithm, which feeds their reach, which feeds their ego. It's the lowest form of content, dopamine welfare. But people fall for it because the system rewards surface energy, quantity over quality, noise over insight. Algorithms don't understand wisdom, they understand volume. So the loudest idiots get rewarded, and the quiet geniuses get buried. Civilization once prized philosophers. Now it crowns engagement farmers. You can spot them easily. They all speak the same dialect of corporate self-help, sterile, shallow, and inoffensive. They write like HR departments pretending to have a soul. Every post is 5 lessons I learned from failure. Or, here SYU should take more cold showers. It's motivational problem, reverse engineered for stability.
Oh yeah.
And the people eating it up think they're becoming smarter. They're not. They're becoming more predictable. The algorithm loves predictable. That's why every post you see looks the same. The same Canva quote cards, the same hook templates, the same over-enunciated TikTok cadence. It's all industrialized inspiration, optimized for engagement metrics that measure nothing real. These people don't write to express truth, they write to extract reach. You're not hearing their thoughts. You're hearing the sound of a machine learning what you'll click next. And the saddest part, they think they're hustlers, they think they're building brands, but what they're actually doing is training AI to replace them. Every recycled idea, every viral format, every hollow post is free training data for a smarter parasite. Soon, even the farmers will be replaced by the farms. Meanwhile, the true elites play a different game. They don't post every day. They don't chase engagement. They don't flood feeds, they control tone. A single sentence from them echoes longer than 1,000 posts from the peasants. Why? Because they understand scarcity. They understand that the power of a message, ISNT, in its volume, S in its silence. That's the difference between clout and influence. Clout is cheap attention. Influence is quiet control. The man with clout needs to remind you he exists. The man with influence can vanish for a year and still shape the conversation, because his name is gravity. When you're high status, you don't need to farm engagement to tax it. You let the crowd argue about you, interpret you, remix you. Their obsession becomes your advertising. You turn public curiosity into private leverage. Every time they speak your name, they work for you. That's real status, turning spectators into unpaid marketers. Engagement farmers will never reach that level because they confuse visibility with power. They think being seen is victory. It's not. It's vulnerability. The more visible you are, the easier it is to manipulate you. The loudest are always the easiest to control. You can steer their emotions with a single comment, their careers with a single platform tweak. The algorithm giveth, the algorithm taketh away, but you can't tell them that. They're addicted to attention like rats to sugar water. The red notification bubble might as well be heroin. Every post that performs validates their identity. Everyone that flops shatters it. Their entire self-worth is built on the emotional roulette of social feedback loops. That's not freedom. That's slavery, with better lighting. You think I'm exaggerating? Watch what happens when a clout junkie goes a week without engagement. The withdrawal is visible. The fake positivity drops. The smile fades. Suddenly they're tweeting about burnout and mental health breaks. Translation: they lost the algorithm's favor and can't cope with the silence. That's the cost of playing for attention. You forfeit autonomy. You're no longer a person. You're a product with feelings. This is why the system keeps getting dumber, because it rewards addiction. It amplifies whoever can shout the loudest, cry the hardest, or offend the fastest. The algorithm doesn't care if you're right, it cares if you're reacted to. And the peasants oblige. They rage, they repost, they argue for hours about celebrities and politics and fake controversies. Convinced they're raising awareness. They're not. They're performing free labor for empires of distraction. You want to win in this game, stop feeding it. Go dark. Be the account that disappears mid-conversation. Be the name that doesn't explain itself. Starve the machine until it starts craving you. That's leverage. That's power. The true Apex players don't beg the algorithm for attention, they starve it until it kneels. They don't create engagement, they create mystery. They understand the hierarchy of visibility. Peasants perform, merchants post, lords vanish, because the highest form of status isn't being seen, it's being sought. Flexing used to be simple: a gold chain, a fast car, a mansion on the hill. Now, it's an art form, a language, spoken only by those fluent in restraint. The rich no longer prove wealth by showing it. They prove it by hiding it. The more invisible the flex, the higher the status. Because the second you can decode it, it's no longer impressive. The modern flex is you don't wear Gucci logos. You wear unbranded Japanese cotton that costs triple. You don't post photos from your vacation. You let people wonder why you haven't posted at all. You don't brag about success. You make subtle remarks that imply it. I forgot which country my passport's in. My assistant's been reminding me to eat. It's not conversation, it's dominance theater. The peasants flex for recognition. The elites flex for control. The difference is motivation. The broke man wants to be admired. The rich man wants to be obeyed. So every gesture, every aesthetic, every silence is engineered to maintain asymmetry. He's not showing off. He's establishing hierarchy. And nothing reveals hierarchy faster than how people handle praise. Watch closely. Low-status individuals absorb compliments greedily, like they're starving. Thank you. I've worked so hard. They need you to validate the effort. High-status individuals deflect or ignore it. They'll shrug and pivot the conversation, signaling that acknowledgement from you means nothing. That's a flex, because real power doesn't receive validation, it assumes it. This extends online too. The humble brag is the lingua franca of the upper middle class, people wealthy enough to crave admiration but insecure enough to pretend they don't. Thus landed another client. Feeling blessed? Can't believe I got invited to speak at this event. Imposter syndrome kicking in. Translation: look at me, worship me, but don't think I'm bragging. It's psychological laundering, a way to hide vanity behind fake vulnerability. But the true elite doesn't humble brag. He doesn't need relatability as a social shield. His humility is cold and strategic. He lets the peasants post paragraphs of gratitude and self-help quotes while he says nothing. He's not performing virtue, he's cultivating fear. Because in the hierarchy of power, ambiguity greater than sincerity. People fear what they can't predict. Flexing has evolved from decoration to manipulation. The goal isn't to look rich, it's to create uncertainty. Make people guess your net worth. Make them wonder how you spend your time. The more they speculate, the higher your stock rises. That's the paradox of power. Mystery compounds faster than money. Even the setting matters. Where peasants post selfies, lords post architecture, a glass of wine against a horizon, a cufflink next to a document. No face, no caption, no context. It's not about who they are, it's about what they control. Their aesthetic isn't wealth, it's distance. Here's the rule. The more words attached to a flex, the lower the credibility. That's why real power prefers minimalism. Think of it like fashion. Loud luxury screams, "I want you to think I have money." Quiet luxury whispers, "I know you know." Every thread, every brand, every detail is curated for those who can decode it. The uninitiated see nothing. The initiated see everything. It's a secret handshake among the competent. Even generosity has become a flex. You see a billionaire donate $10 million to a cause and think, what a good man. He's not good, he's strategic. He's buying moral insurance. He's laundering reputation. You think it's philanthropy? It's optics. The modern elite doesn't do charity for impact. They do it for immunity. You can't criticize me. Look how much I give away. It's chest disguised as kindness. Meanwhile, the peasants think morality is currency. They brag about allyship, awareness, mindfulness. They wear causes like accessories. It's not activism, it's fashion for the spiritually broke. Virtue is the new Rolex, a symbol of borrowed status. It's performative empathy for clout. The irony? The people preaching equality online are often the most obsessed with hierarchy. The influencer who says we're all in this together still filters her selfies, curates her captions, and collaborates only upward. She believes in unity, but only if she's at the center. It's socialism for aesthetics, capitalism for lifestyle. So, what's the correct way to flex? Silently, through behavior, through exclusion, through rules only you can follow. You don't tell people what you have, you remind them what they can't access. The private gym at 3 p.m., the dinner table that's in Tonally, the number that doesn't exist on Google. That's not secrecy, that's signaling. It says, I live in a world where your rules don't apply. Even the micro gestures matter. Eye contact, posture, the pause before speaking. You can't fake those. You can fake hustle quotes and rented cars, but you can't fake indifference. Indifference is the ultimate luxury, because it means you have nothing left to prove. The modern aristocracy isn't built on bloodlines. It's built on bandwidth, how little of your time can be bought. The man who must respond instantly is a servant. The man who makes others wait controls reality. The same applies online. Constant posting is servitude. Strategic silence is sovereignty. Every gap in visibility increases your perceived altitude. The flex, then, is simple. Disappear without falling. Vanish, and your absence is still felt. That's prestige. That's leverage. If you can leave the room and the conversation continues about you, you've won. Peasants chase presence. Kings command absence. That's the language of power. Every empire breeds rebellion. Every hierarchy eventually creates a generation that refuses to kneel. But here's the catch: the status rebellion of today isn't happening in the streets. It's happening in silence, in private group chats, in lockdown discords, in ghosted Instagram accounts. The smartest people aren't fighting the system, they're exiting it. The rebellion starts when you realize the game is rigged, but you play it better anyway. You learn the rules not to follow them, but to weaponize them. That's what separates cynics from strategists. The cynic complains that life's unfair. The strategist sees unfairness as leverage. The system isn't moral, it's mathematical. You don't protest math, you exploit it. The masses want reform. The elites want escape. The rebellion is to build outside the empire, while the peasants are still arguing about palace etiquette. That's why the new rebellion isn't anti-capitalist, sovereign capitalist. It's not burn down the castle. It's build a compound so far away that the castle looks like a museum. You've probably noticed it already. People are logging off. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. The intelligent ones delete the apps, set up trust structures, and move to places where the government still fears its citizens. They stop signaling, stop competing, stop debating. They aren't nihilists. They're realists. They understand that you can't save a burning house. You can only build a better one on the hill. And that's what terrifies the establishment. Not the outrage, not the memes, not the movements, the disengagement. Bake has attention is the only real fuel the system runs on. Take it away, and the empire starves. The peasants still riot online for visibility. The lords still manipulate the chaos for profit. But the sovereign class, they're out in the woods, buying land, owning assets, training their bodies, homeschooling their kids, paying cash, and teaching others how to do the same. They're not in the game anymore. They're building a new one. This is the status rebellion, a rejection of dependence, a return to autonomy disguised as minimalism. It's not off the grid. It's off the leash. Think of it like this. In the old world, rebellion meant shouting. In the new world, rebellion means silence. The loud ones are still begging for retweets. The real rebels don't even have accounts. You can't cancel a man who doesn't need your network. You can't algorithmically erase someone who owns their distribution. The elites of the future won't be famous, they'll be invisible. And invisibility is the final status symbol. That's why the next frontier isn't digitalized territorial. Real estate, agriculture, private manufacturing, local community, the decentralization movement isn't a fad. It's a migration. The future isn't a city, it's a fortress. The new nobles won't live in skyscrapers. They'll live on compounds with solar panels, water wells, and private fiber. While the digital peasants argue about pronouns and privilege, the sovereigns are buying silence, privacy, and legacy. But here's where the story turns. Not everyone can exit. Most people are too dependent, too distracted, too addicted to validation to ever walk away. They need the noise because the silence exposes how little they've built, and that's fine. The world still needs spectators. The hierarchy still needs layers. But for the few who can stomach solitude, there's freedom at the edge. The exit strategy isn't quitting, society is transcending it. You play the system until it funds your escape. You make money from the circus, then buy the tent and burn it down. You learn to use visibility like a scalpel, strategic, temporary, and profitable. Then you vanish again. That's what the quiet luxury crowd gets half right. It's not about cashmere sweaters and subtle watch easy, it's about disappearing without losing power. So how do you start? First you own something. Anything. Land, business, code, product. The rebellion begins at ownership. If your survival depends on anyone else's permission, you're a modern serf. If you can generate income without selling your time, you're free. That's why the wealthy don't brag about jobs, they brag about equity. Second, you control your inputs. The information, the food, the people. The modern world feeds you poison, disguised as convenience. Every dependency weakens autonomy. The sovereign filters aggressively. He doesn't eat seed oils. He doesn't read mass media. He doesn't socialize downward. His environment is curated for clarity. Third, you detach emotionally. You stop caring about validation, outrage, and digital applause. You learn to let the mob chatter while you act. Indifference is the rarest superpower in a world addicted to reaction. The man who can't be emotionally baited cannot be controlled. Finally, you build leverage. The ability to walk away is the essence of freedom. Whether it's a job, a woman, a platform, or a government tiff, you can't leave. You're owned. The high-status man doesn't beg for inclusion. He creates alternatives. The peasants need permission to speak. The Spania builds his own microphone. This is the cultural shift the establishment fears. The moment people realize that opting out is stronger than rebelling in. Revolutionaries make noise. Architects make exits. Every system collapses when the competent withdraw cooperation. That's what's happening now, quietly, globally, under the noise. And as the new rebellion matures, the peasants will mock it. They'll call it privilege. They'll sneer at homesteaders, mock crypto-capitalists, ridicule minimalists, and write think pieces about toxic self-sufficiency. That's fine. They mocked the early internet too. Then they begged for invitations. Because the truth is, freedom looks like arrogance when you're enslaved. The sovereign doesn't owe you relatability, he owes you an example. So if you're watching this, and you feel that instinct of disgust with mediocrity, the pull toward autonomy, the ache for meaning in a system designed to numb you, you're not crazy. You're awake. You're not meant to fit in the empire. You're meant to outgrow it. The story isn't over. This was the Anarchist File.